guys. Today we are going to discuss about the sociology of class 12, part 3. If you had not seen part 1 and 2, it has been given in the description box. Today we can discuss about social organization of market. Now let us look at social organization of market, traditional business communities. We know very well that Vaishyas are the merchants, traders and businessmen. When the British came, industries were set up and it led to industrialization. Before that, we did not have industries. Our country was agro-based. Everything was agricultural. Whatever we needed, we produced, and it was only for self-satisfaction. And later on, we had the barter system. When we were in need of other commodities, we used to go and exchange for that commodity to commodity. After the British came only, we had the advent of industrialization. Britishers did not allow Indians to be the heads of the industries, but they let the merchants help them, assist them. After the independence, the merchants took over since they were trained by the British. For example, we can quote the communities like Parsis, Boras, Jains, Sindhis. The Marwaris in north areas could be very rich or middle class or local traders. Everything is a business. They live very meagerly and put the rest into the business. For example, we can say Birlas, Bajaj, Dalmia. Different communities monopolize business like salt since they wanted only their community to prosper and to be known for a particular ownership. There was more trust involved inside their community. Now let us move on to colonization, colonialism and emergence of new markets. Before the colonial period, jute, cotton, silk, spices were available. British took cotton from India and sent it to Manchester, where the finished product was sent back to India. People began buying this cloth since it was cheaper. Machine-made products were cheaper than the handmade products of India, and so the handloom industry in India collapsed. The machines were more productive than the manual labor. India was only a manufacturer earlier, but later it became a supplier of raw material too. Also, they became consumers since goods came from Britain too. During colonization, the Marwaris utilized the opportunities to train themselves, and after independence they took our livelihood since they knew the tricks and trade. It was hereditary for them. During colonial rule, they acted as bankers for the Britishers with finances. They even financed the Britishers. Even today, their own various business, since it is hereditary, father to son, it is passed on from father to son. They are having so many varieties of business. Now let us move on to the next topic, understanding capitalism as a social system. Karl Marx divided the society into two, the haves and the have-nots. Haves are the people who have money, lot of money. For example, industrialists, businessmen, or they own an entrepreneurship. The have-nots are the people, those who do not have money, they will have to win their bread. Laborers, workers. So he was against a capitalistic society. The haves have everything in the society. It is the have-nots, those who work for the haves and are paid wages. He felt that laborers were commodities and they could pay for them. According to Karl Marx, the laborers are not paid as much as they should be paid. There is a simple profit or value which is the extra value in terms of the wages paid to the laborers in proportion to the work. Now let us discuss about commodification. What is commodification? Any item which was not sold earlier in the market but now it has gained a value, so it is called as commodification. We can say some examples like organs, water, wedding planner and agents. So it has gained monetary importance. So it is called as commodification. It has become a commodity. Globalization. The term is familiar to you. What is globalization? Movement of people, goods, services, technology from one part to the other part of the country is called as globalization. India already had globalized, but the term was not familiar to us. We had been with some countries only. Privatization of public sector units, call centers, providing services to different companies all over the world due to cheap labor and infrastructure available in India. Business process outsourcing, also called as BPO. Outsourcing. When we have outsourcing, our work is deported to other country, another company where the infrastructure labor is available at a cheaper resource for being a support system. As India has cheaper resources of labor, we are getting outsourced. Other aspects of a company are important: security, aesthetic, housekeeping, to reduce the problem of formation of trade unions and to avoid headaches. Production, distribution, sales, marketing of various products is also being done. It is beneficial for both. The company gets work done and the people become well known, and then they attain jobs from other greater companies. Let us discuss about liberalization, that is marketization in the free market. Reduction of trade barriers and tariffs. Movement of people, capital, services from one place to another. Technology and goods also move. Economic aspect of globalization is more in this. Laissez-faire is there. Marketization shows low producers and consumers, and it controls the market forces. Markets are controlling the social, economic and political problems of the country. It is making it more globalized. The number of disadvantages are more than the advantages, but globalization is here to stay for the development of the country. More efficiency, more competition helps to reach maximum potential and improve the quality. Some industries get benefit from this, like fruits, automobiles. Support prices and subsidies should not be given. Discuss about some of the disadvantages of liberalization. There are some sectors which have increased in exports, like the IT, seafood, fruits, etc. Electronic goods and automobiles have come down since foreign goods are of better quality. In rural areas, one family faces a lot of competition from the foreign families. The variety of fruits, support price and subsidies they receive. Now let us move on to the advantages of liberalization. Commodities which were not available to us earlier are available now. That is a very great advantage. We can see many more brands available in the market now. We need not stick on to a particular product. Privatization, better efficiency and quality due to competition. Foreign investment and foreign exchange coming into the country. Foreign direct investment, isn't it not? And foreign investment. Therefore, there is prosperity, growth and development. It increases the employment for skilled laborers. It gives support price. The government gives to the families at a certain price which is much lesser than the normal price. Subsidies are also given by the government which reduces the price and it gives to the people at a lower price. For example, kerosene, rice, water, electricity, etc. The deficit or difference in the price is paid by the government. In rural society, support price means the government fixes a particular rate by which they buy the product from the farmers. For example, 1 kg of wheat is for rupees 40 and it goes up to rupees 70. The government will still buy it for rupees 40. Liberalization says subsidies and support price should not be given by the government, especially hybrid seeds, fertilizers and insecticides. But why? Unemployment has gone up for the unskilled laborers. It increases in the unorganized sector in India. 70% of the people are in the unorganized sector. I conclude the chapter 4 now. Thank you for watching this video. You can also follow me in the Instagram and Facebook. Link is given in the description box. Do not forget to subscribe and press the bell icon. Do give a thumbs up.
Of everything,
For watching this video.
fire spreading all around my room. My world's so bright, it's hard to breathe, but that's alright. Hush.
Do give a thumbs